buddies, let's go. Barn Burner on a Tuesday here in the Tower Chrysler Studios. It's Boom, it's Pinder, and there he is at, somebody was saying it looked like you're between two ferns. Do you have two ferns there, Rhettster, or just the one?
One fake olive and two, is that art? Is it
weed paint?
Yeah,
what that is. So, hey, it doesn't matter wherever you are. If it's Barn Burner, we are coming to you from the Tower Chrysler Studios. Good to have everybody in today. We got a lot to get to. No messing around. Frank Seravalli, Frank bombs already today. Frank bomb, just huge stuff coming from Frank. We got a lot to get to. And we'll start with the game from Madison Square Garden last night. And to kind of get us in, it's time to welcome another new client to Barn Burner. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Hearing Loss Clinic.
Pardon me?
Travis Rhodes Hearing Loss Clinic. Chances are you know that they got 5 locations in British Columbia. They got 4 here in the city of Calgary.
Yeah.
And we met with Travis last week, and he's like, "Boom, I know you have some issues with your hearing in that. You know, you don't have to just accept that. You don't have to live with that. It's if you have apparently if you have eye problems, you go and see somebody about your eyes.
Get some glasses.
If you got to go see the doctor, go and get yourself the comprehensive hearing tests. You don't just have to accept it. And in fact, there are some health risks connected to hearing loss if it's untreated hearing loss. So Travis, I mean, he talked her ears off. Oh my God, it's like, okay, Travis, God Almighty.
Well, you can tell his hearing's working.
At least can he hear himself?
Well, ours was working.
A lot of talking. But we're going to Travis and everybody in. We're going to have some fun with Travis. I'm going to go down and get my ears looked at. But here's what we're going to do to get into the game from last night. For the Hearing Loss Clinic, a little thing we'll call Listen Up. This is what took place last night at MSG.
Zadorov gets back. Lafreniere, the pass. Save Markstrom. Lafreniere scores! The game winner, Alexei Lafreniere.
Here comes Lafreniere. Zadorov, the defenseman, had been out there a long time. And then Lafreniere with that. And does he ever make a good play? He doesn't skate past the net. He stops and comes back and gets the puck.
So there it is. That is Listen Up for the Hearing Loss Clinic. Their website.
Crack of the stick?
I heard that. Hearingloss.ca, on Twitter at The Hearing Loss, and on Instagram at The Hearing Loss Clinic. Welcome to the Barn Hearing Loss Clinic. Good to have you on board. Retro, we did the show last night, a little afterburner. I guess I want to start with that play, because you kind of felt, and now that we've seen it, you felt like Mangiapane. You can see him. He's starting to curl up to his left. He's going to try and break if they can get the puck. But Zadorov obviously doesn't get the puck. With some time to marinate on it, is it more of a Zadorov thing, or are you still sour at Mangiapane for how he plays this?
Wow, I don't know. Look at, is he coming back hard? Is he coming back hard? And where is he headed? I mean, on one hand, leaving is maybe a good play, because if Zadorov does get it to him, then they're away. But he's not busting his ass right now to get back. And Z, I don't know where he's going.
He falls asleep there.
Mangiapane does the same thing Zadorov does. They swing away from the puck instead of going at the puck. So
the problem is it's within the wingspan of Zadorov, and I think Mange reads that as he's got it. I'm flying the coop so I can get sprung. But Zadorov, for whatever reason, he doesn't hit the brakes right away. And look where he is when that rebound's loose. He's closer than anyone else on the ice by a mile.
I'm telling you, I understand what you're saying about Zadorov, and maybe I'm protecting the D. But Kadri, I just noticed Kadri is not busting his ass back, and neither's Mangiapane. Now, it very well might be we're not going to bust back, because if they don't score, we should have a break with 2-on-1 the other way. But if you're coming back hard the full time, one of the three should get that puck.
Yeah.
The Flames lose, by the way, at the tail of the tape there.
1-goal loss
in
overtime?
Another 1-goal loss, another overtime loss, as they fall to 3-7 in overtime. And the Rangers were no better. They were 3-6 coming. They were both 3-6 coming into the.
That's surprising.
It kind of is.
The Flames. That's like hearing the Rangers power play is not good. You're like, with Fox, was Zibanejad, with Panarin, it's not good, huh?
I don't know that they deserved to win necessarily. Markstrom got them a point. He held them in. He was terrific last night. But again, you had a third period lead.
4-3.
And I just don't know.
They also erased 3 deficits. That was an unbelievable game.
It was the first period was crazy.
If you weren't a fan of either the Rangers or the Flames, you could have sat back and cracked a few beers and just said, this is awesome. Like, put it in my veins.
Yeah.
I think everyone that's a Flames fan is going to be clouded by the result and feel sour. And, officiating both ways was a little dicey. I think Rangers fans would be upset at that goal off Mangiapane's skate would stand. I think Tanev getting an extra 2 when he's coming to confront a player that just hit his player. And Trouba's got to stick up and mitts off first. How in the world is that roughing? That's insanity. So both fan bases would have that. But if you get out of that, that's just a great hockey game.
Yeah.
Outside of those two fan bases, it'll be wildly entertaining, physicality, back and forth, lead changes, extra time, great crowd. Like, what's missing there?
I was watching it after. I was playing catch up, and the Flames go up 4-3 in the third. And I was watching it with my kid, and I said, it's kind of a joke that we've had for years going back to Red Deer in a game where you've got the leads. OT is going to be great. I said to him, OT is going to be great. And he says, did you look on the app? I'm like, no, I have no idea, but I just have to assume that they're going to blow this lead. And then sure as shit, about 2 minutes later, there it is.
Yeah.
And then off to overtime. Hey, let's bring Frank Seravalli in. Frank's been sitting and listening to this. I know you were on Twitter last night, and specifically about the Kadri hit from Trouba, which is... It's about as heavy a hit, open ice. You said before, about an hour ago, before we even got close, there might not be a better open ice hitter right now than Jacob Trouba.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lost art. Sorry, Retro?
Yeah. Oh, I just
right?
threw Reeves' names in the hat, but I mean, Trouba's.
Yeah, when he catches guys, but just the ability to be in a spot to hit guys, that's, it's just all the time with him, apparently.
But he leveled. I mean, he got Dube, but the hit on Kadri, and those two were kind of going at each other. Kadri went down, the bucket comes off. I don't know if he clunked his head on the ice, but he got rocked. And you were saying, is he not going to go to the quiet room? Are they not going to assess him at all? And they really didn't.
No, and look, just let me preface this by saying, first off, I absolutely love the hit. Like, it's a barn burner of a hit. Like, that's everything you want in a hit. I love the physicality. It's clean as a whistle. There's nothing to dislike about it at all, unless you're Nazem Kadri.
Whiplash, though, hey? Man.
What that was basically my point on Twitter was like, first off, Naz Kadri isn't one of those guys that wears his chin strap super loose and like, he's prone to the bucket flying off. Check out the rotational force on the hit. It's so significant that his bucket goes flying. I mean, to think that type of hit, people were responding to me like, oh, you moron, it's a hit to the chest. Why would you examine him for a concussion? I'm like, where has everyone been for the last 2 decades? It's about whiplash. It's about rotational force. If that doesn't get you examined, we might as well just pack it in and pretend like there are no concussions like the league has been doing for the last couple decades.
The one on Dube was clean too. I didn't have a problem with either one of them.
And watch, the helmet goes flying. His head literally bounces off the ice. Like, I'm not saying there should be a penalty. There shouldn't. But if you have an independent concussion spotter, what are they watching when this happens? Because if they don't see a potential concussion there, I don't know where they're looking for them. Are they checking at the popcorn stand? This is like the greatest classic example of he might have a head injury. His head bounced off the ice. It's crazy.
And again, not saying he does have a head injury, but to at least check him for the possibility of one is the entire point of the process.
Yeah.
Is there any better feeling, Retro, than catching a guy like that? I'd have no idea, but I can only assume as a defenseman when you're sizing a guy up and you know you've got him.
Well, it's when he comes right here. Oh, he's coming. He's going to come across. Yay! Because there's nothing.
Trolley tracks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he going to come? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was the 2023 clean version of Scott Stevens, Eric Lindros. That's what that was.
Yeah.
That was a 14 out of 10 on the Richter scale.
Yeah. Rhett and I have talked about it, I guess just because we both have kids in hockey and as do you. But we see some of these hits and they're so violent because probably if you take 10 times where Kadri comes in across and cuts to the middle, he's not going to get hit at all, let alone like that. So the one time it does happen, even at the NHL level, they're not prepared for it. It's not as physical a game as it used to be.
And I think, as to your point, a parent and youth hockey coach, I'm okay with that. Like, you make a living, let's boil this down to its most simplest form. You make a living where you have to carry the puck. And in order to effectively carry the puck, that means that occasionally you need to look down at the puck. Why should players be penalized, or at least have the ability to have their brains jarred based on that, if that's how the game works? So again, I'm not advocating for anything. This is not me being a snowflake or soft or anything like that, whatever adjective you want to throw at me. I love the physicality. I'm old school in that sense. I just wonder if we need to think about it a little bit differently in terms of how we process the whole thing, that maybe he shouldn't have to be susceptible to that based on the fact that he's making a hockey play.
We can move on. Now, you put a tweet out this morning, a Frank bomb. And I got to admit, I saw NHLPA and I saw some stuff. I just glaze over. It's the result of 2-3 lockouts. It's PTSD when it comes to
right into
NHLPA,
the scar tissue,
right into it. But there's some meat on this bone. Tell me about the news that essentially you broke this morning regarding the NHLPA.
Yeah, so he had been Marty Walsh, the former mayor of Boston, the current sitting U.S. Secretary of Labor. He had been linked to the NHLPA's executive director job last week. I'm told that that is now a done deal, that he was waiting to get to the other side of Joe Biden's State of the Union address, where he will be in the joint session of Congress on Tuesday night, and then can move forward with the post. The executive board of the NHLPA has given him the green light to negotiate an employment contract. That's well down the track, and I'd expect an announcement, a formal announcement of Marty Walsh as the new executive director of the NHLPA, potentially before the end of this week. And this is big news because it's a departure of the norm for the PA. One, Marty Walsh is not a traditional hockey guy. He has very little connection to the game outside of being a Bruin fan. And two, he's not a lawyer. He actually dropped out of college, joined the local Boston Laborers Union as a 21-year-old, became president of the union, was elected to the Massachusetts state legislature, as you see here, in 1997. That launched his political career, which had included stops as a major building and trades labor union leader. And that ultimately got him elected as mayor of Boston, a 2-term mayor, before leaving to join Joe Biden's cabinet in 2021. And now he's the first member of Joe Biden's cabinet to actually leave and take a post in hockey, which is certainly, as I mentioned, a departure for the norm for the NHLPA. So they go in a different direction. And what's fascinating about it is that this really only unfolded in the last 3 weeks. A lot of people believe that one of the finalists in former player agent and Vancouver Canucks GM Mike Gillis was the front runner for the position and was actually going to get the post. I'm told that Marty Walsh in this case was in line to be the next chief of staff to Joe Biden. And when that didn't work out, was open to the idea of coming to the NHLPA, and it happened like that. They had a Zoom call on Friday to introduce him to the executive board, and now here he is.
Any concern with the ties with the Jacobs family that own the Bruins and clearly are on the ownership side of this, battle between PA, which shouldn't be battle, but has been a battle. Jacobs, a noted big contributor to his campaigns in the past.
Yeah, I think the optics of it are not great. And I think perhaps what was most surprising was the fact that the search firm, the executive search firm, Russell Reynolds Associates, did not really have an idea of that. I think that's, in some people's minds, called into question the vetting process that Russell Reynolds unfolded here with regards to Marty Walsh. And look, it's not just the donations. I mean, Pinder, there's a ton of wealthy families out there that make political campaign donations all the time, may not actually support that person or their politics, but are in a spot where, hey, this person could potentially do some good for me and my company. it's not just the donations, it's also the fact that the Jacobs family, through their companies, Delaware North, also organized fundraisers where way more than just the $13,000 that Jeremy Jacobs individually donated to Marty Walsh, then I think calls into question. Jeremy Jacobs is the most powerful owner in the NHL. He's the chairman of the NHL's Board of Governors, the long-standing chairman. He is essentially Gary Bettman's boss. He helps determine the tenor and attitude and approach with Gary Bettman in lockstep of what they'd like to accomplish at the bargaining table with the NHLPA. So if there is a tie and they are chummy between Walsh and the Jacobs family and or Bettman, I asked Gary Bettman about that at the NHL All-Star Weekend in Florida. He said that they've met a few times and didn't go into any other detail other than that. I think that's a major question mark moving forward, which is how close are they and what will that relationship be like as this begins to unfold?
It's kind of interesting where you said he's not a lawyer. We're just so used to these guys being dull as the day is long, just lawyers, and they don't say anything, and it's just white guys in a suit. This is a colorful guy, right? Like, this is an interesting dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, he fully publicly acknowledged, and I wrote it in my story, that he was thrown out of a Bruins game for excessive alcohol consumption. That was actually one of the events that led him on a journey to recovery. Back in 2016 at the Democratic National Convention, he began his speech saying, "My name is Marty Walsh and I'm an alcoholic." So he's someone that has resonated with the blue collar people of Boston. He's resonated with the police and firefighters and the citizens of that city. And he certainly is colorful, but at the same time, he's stepping into a role that's way outside of his norm. Yes, he's been a union leader, but he doesn't know the ins and outs and how insular the hockey world is. He doesn't know how this collective bargaining agreement operates. He doesn't maybe necessarily know how formidable a foe Gary Bettman and the league's owners are and how much leverage, frankly, they have. And more importantly, he probably doesn't know how apathetic, or maybe he's beginning to learn, that this union membership has been as a whole. It spoke volumes to me that of the 10 members that were on the NHLPA's selection committee to go about this search process, they were all 33 to 35 years old. None of the young guys had stepped up to be part of that. None of the real big names. And that's kind of concerning to me in terms of how this union leadership begins to unfold as it goes in a new direction.
Okay, we can move on. 2 weeks ago, you're in Jasper, Alberta. It's very cold. This past weekend, you're in Miami, Florida. It's quite warm. Did you get the chill? How did your body handle that shock to the system?
Not well. I mean, you guys saw me. This guy is not built for the heat and humidity. I'll tell you that. Let alone when you got to put a suit on. So there were some very moist moments, I would say. And like, speaking of apparel, like, are we gonna talk about your sunglasses? Like, last I checked, there's only one Bob McCown, or like, how does this work exactly?
So you were
this is the Boom Cat.
You go down to the All-Star game, not so much your impressions on skills or the game itself, because everybody hates everything.
Sidestep.
But getting around other media members and that, what are you hearing? Is there we're less than a month to the trade deadline? Anything you're hearing out there?
On the trade front, it's actually been pretty quiet. I thought there was a really interesting comment from Luke Richardson, the Blackhawks head coach, and he kind of perfectly summed it up when he said, "Hey, I was talking to our GM and Kyle Davidson, and he said that he got a few frantic phone calls after the Bo Horvat trade, because I think there were a lot of teams that were surprised to see the Canucks pull the trigger with the Islanders. Like, they didn't take the deal back and circle back to some other teams and say, hey, we're thinking about, this is, we're going to pull the trigger on Bo Horvat now. This is it. They didn't get a chance to kind of up their offers. And so now a bunch of teams had circled back to the Blackhawks saying, hey, just making sure, like, are you doing anything on Kane and Taves in the next couple of days here? What about some of the other guys? And then as soon as like the answer was like, hey, nothing's imminent, everything just went back to being super quiet again. So kind of the one weekend of the year that most NHL general managers get off during the season. And I'd imagine that while they were thinking about trades in their heads, I don't think there was a ton of activity on that front, at least from the people that I've talked to.
I think one of the other fallouts of Horvat being moved to the Islanders and not a, quote, capital C contender, I don't feel like there's an arms race. Like someone's not going to be like, oh, shoot, the Islanders got Horvat. We got to go get someone. Like they might not even make the playoffs. Whereas if this guy lands in Boston, now that Atlantic division, okay, if he goes to Colorado, there's not really a trickle-down effect of that trade, is there, Frank?
Not at all. I think it was kind of in a vacuum. They were in a spot where clearly their push to make the deal was to increase their playoff chances and give themselves a shot to get in. And everyone else is kind of so comfortable that I don't even think, even if it was to Boston, for instance, that you'd see a reactionary move out of Toronto or Tampa. That's not really their style. Those teams are going to improve. And I have no doubt that they will both make a trade at some point, probably all three of those teams. However, I don't, given the lack of cap space and assets to go around, I don't think this year in particular is an arms race or something where teams are going to be reactionary to others.
Just looking online now, I'm seeing Dylan Cousins signing with the Sabres.
Yeah, 7 times 7.1 Rhett for a guy that they love, apparently.
$49.7 million. And what's really interesting about that, Rhett, obviously you've had a chance to see Cousins up close, and he's had a fantastic season. He's a few years younger, 3 years plus younger than Tage Thompson, is that they were able to, I believe, leverage the Thompson deal and say, look how good this guy has been. He's on fire this year. Your contract at 7 years, $50 million needs to fall under what Thompson's deal is. So he signs for $300,000 total fewer dollars, and he'll have a chance with the deal expiring. He turns 22 on Thursday. He'll have a chance in 7 years' time to get another contract. So pretty decent work, I think, for both the Sabres and the Cousins camp. And they get these guys locked up now at really reasonable numbers for the next number of years. Sabres are the team to watch, man. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, we joked years ago, oh, Patrick Kane's from there. He'll go back in free agency and they won't be good enough. All of a sudden, it's like that's quite a core, a young core they've built. And maybe Patrick Kane isn't the guy, but a really high-end free agent going to Buffalo wouldn't be crazy given the good cap work they've done. And it seems like a team poised to make that jump into the postseason in the near future here.
In an odd way, I actually don't think they need him. They're in a spot where, like, look at the year that Jack Quinn has had. Look at the year that Victor Olofsson has had on the right side. You've got Olofsson playing in your third line. How much more maybe you're hoping Buffalo, you get a shot in the arm from Kane, but his production right now, as currently constituted with the Blackhawks, is actually kind of on par with those guys. And you'd think that Quinn, as your first round pick, is just 20 years old, going to continue to develop and develop. That's been the big thing about the Sabres that I think is so underappreciated and special about the way they've built this is, as all these other teams were blowing their brains out this summer, how many times did we hear about the summer of Pierre Dorion in Ottawa, and then the moves and money that Steve Yzerman spent in Detroit? In the same division, the Sabres did nothing. They said, we're going to give our young players every opportunity. We are not bringing in any roadblocks. And now they're in a spot where those guys have delivered and they can continue to take off, and they don't need that outside help and influence. To bolster the team, sure, you'd like to try and do that, but I think they're perfectly comfortable to roll the dice and see what happens.
Well, and they've got, I think they have the youngest team in the AHL as well.
Really? Roch.
What a spot.
I was going to say, so what can they do at the deadline? Who can they sell off? And they don't really. Okposo is a UFA. Girgenson's
sell
a
off.
UFA.
They're adding, buddy.
No, but I just think in terms of as you're moving forward, they've already got 3 second-round picks in this upcoming draft, including their first. How do you, if you don't get in this year, how next year all bets are off, I would think. I was just wondering if there was a way they could stockpile something else this year. You think they got a chance?
I personally, I think they get in. The way that they've played, their push has been legitimate these last few weeks, and they're trending in an upward direction at the same time that Pittsburgh and Washington have sort of been very mediocre. And with how long in the tooth those teams are, like Buffalo, they're believing right now. I've talked to a number of players in that dressing room in the last few weeks. They think they're getting in. That's powerful when you have a bunch of young guys. And at the same time, you just think that those other teams, at least one of them, might be a little tired, might end up where the long season catches up with them. And, they've not really been inspiring, either one of them, of late.
What do you see with Florida? They got a big win over their rivals, the Lightning, last night. 5 points for Matthew Tkachuk, but they have to clear 2 teams to get in. The Islanders being one, Sabres, and then also a playoff team. Geez, they're way back.
They are, and they've got a lot of work to do, but I think they've got the talent to get there if they can get healthy. The big looming factor from last night's 7-1 win over the Bolts is Alexander Barkov. He went down with a hand injury, blocked a shot. It was like this close to hitting his shin pad, and instead it hit him in the hand. He did not return to the game, waiting on an update today. If he's out for any significant period of time, I know he hasn't been the same this year. He hasn't been quite as good as he has been in years past, still 47 points in 43 games. That I think if they were somehow able to get healthy, get Barkov in there and Anthony Duclair back and Patrick Hornquist from the concussion, they'd have to make a trade potentially to be cap compliant. But I could see that team being not all that different than Colorado and having an opportunity to reel off 8 wins in a 10-game stretch to get themselves right back in it.
It'll be the end of an era with Pittsburgh, Washington. If those teams fall out, Frank, it's been like stamp it,
17 consecutive years for Pittsburgh, and for Washington, they of course missed in the Dale Hunter era, but it's been a long time since we've seen both those teams out.
Appreciate you, Frank. We'll talk to you next week.
Good to see you guys.
Have a good one.
I'm heading to the Super Bowl this weekend. Rhett, it's a shame that the Bills
back to the heat.
It's a dry heat.
Dry heat there. It'll be better. Yeah.
Oh,
Rhett's muted.
Rhett's
muted there, bud.
Yeah.
I said I was in Florida. I wished you'd looked me up. I was down there hanging out. Could have watched. Could have come and watched some real hockey. The boys were playing.
I just missed the alumni game. I frankly, you guys saw me on the pond and how ridiculously out of shape I was. I didn't really want to go see any old men play hockey anymore. And 2, I never got an invite from you to go to the Wales Rib. So,
you're always invited.
By the way, I also, not to say that a Warner squelches on his bets, but still haven't seen anything from the old Bills Stadium cancellation game.
Did I get your address?
You did. I think you did. It's all right. Hey, I keep the receipts.
That's like 3 months ago. There is no one greater at this shit than Warner. There just isn't.
Didn't I? Didn't I
fax you? I faxed you a check. Did I get
sure.
that address? Yeah, he's the best. Frank, the great ones make it look easy. I say it all the time.
It's a gift.
Enjoy Arizona. Who you got?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Kansas City.
Do you even need that?
Chiefs. Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
He loves Mahomes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
All
Go
right.
Chiefs.
Buddy.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See you next week. There he is. World traveler, eh? Just all over the place.
Jasper, Miami, Arizona. That is quite a trifecta there.
Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's
mountains, desert, beach. Well done.
Were you thinking of going? Because your brother is going to Buffalo this weekend, right? He's going to be there. You were always planning, regardless, to be there for Super Bowl?
No, if the Bills are in the Super Bowl, I'd be in Scottsdale right now. I'd be absolutely dialed in, Super Bowl bound. Sorry.
It's Tuesday of Super Bowl week. Where would you be? Would you be at the W? Would you be in a pool? Would you be golfing? Would you be just filling your face at some taco joint? Give us a little skinny here.
Probably a taco joint on Tuesday would be good. I might go watch the golf on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the golf on down there?
I think
Waste
it's the same
management?
weekend.
I wouldn't
It's
miss
just
it.
Full chaos.
I mean, if I was ever
Yeah.
there,
Yeah,
That's
if
when
you're
it was
in
on.
the
You
city,
have
you
to.
got to go.
you gotta go,
Yeah,
guys.
you have to, yeah.
Free tickets.
Super
why
Bowl.
wouldn't
Yeah, I know. Yeah, in a suite. Not
You are so disappointing.
Sunday. This Sunday, it is the big game, and we are having the big game watch party at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. There is no reserved seating. Get there, get your spot. You know, unless you get some VIP seating with myself and Mr. Pinder.
Oh.
You need to put on your Twitter, your Instagram. Get on social media. Show us who you're backing. What are you wearing?
What are you wearing for the big game?
What do you got going for Sunday for the big game? Put it on social media and get FlamesNation involved on you know what they are on the social media accounts for on Twitter and Instagram. And we're going to take somebody. We've got a table set up. I think there might be a wing or two complimentary. I'm just going to say. But that's the only way you're getting reserved seating. Sit with me and Pinder and watch the game on Sunday. Otherwise, by all means, get there. They've got the pitcher and wings special, $12. Plate of wings, pitcher of beer. Not each. That's your total.
Again, I still think that's a typo, but I'm going to go and absolutely hold them to it.
We went and saw Chelsea last week, and we were saying we've actually had some people reaching out. So $12 for beer and then the wings? No, both. $12 gets you the beer and the wings. They're floored by it. She's like, yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
It's the inflation buster right there.
It's pretty good.
I can't afford not to just the whole day.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
In addition, they will have 4 draws of $100 in free slot play and a grand prize draw after the game is done, a 65-inch Samsung television and sound bar.
Rhett was away last week. We did the back check. The TV works, Rhett. So similar, but not exactly the same as your 40th.
Yeah, you can trust Grey Eagle. Don't ever trust Rhett. Shady character. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Check out the website, get the details, and better yet, we'll see you there on Sunday for the big game watch party at the Stage Bar.
You're just embracing the shades thing, eh?
Honestly, it's slowly become a thing with the lights.
Slowly. It was yesterday you put them on.
No, you know what it was? My eyes were starting to hurt. I was getting headaches after the show, and just looking has got to be squinting. And let's be honest, that looks pretty goddamn cool.
Looks really damn cool.
Blue blockers, man. That's awesome.
It's not blue blockers.
It is.
It's a boom cat.
Blocker?
That's what we call them now.
Get that fat guy a saxophone? Where's Bill Clinton? All right, is it come on her dress? Nice, very nice. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all that. Appreciate it. Can't get that support everywhere.
You did not have sexual relations with that
I did
woman.
not. No, I did not. Let's do the Pinder Report. It's a presentation of Village Honda. They're online, villagehonda.com. They want to buy your car, loving the used cars, and they'll get you the money in 24 hours. Bing, bang, boom. No hassle. A no obligation appraisal can be done today. Wheel by the Northwest Auto Mall, 7663 110th Ave Northwest, and see the folks there. They want your car. Why wouldn't you?
Go get it.
Why wouldn't you do it? For Village Honda, it's the Pinder Report.
Fellas, last night, GOTY in Manhattan on Broadway at the world's most famous arena. That GOTY?
Got all go
GOAT, greatest of the
game of the year.
Oh.
Game of the year.
Well, it's
Don't trust me.
February. There's lots of time left this year.
Take it from our colleague in Toronto, our overlord, benevolent overlord,
I don't know what he is.
our national sales weasel. What do we call him?
He's a bit of a hack.
Bit of a hack.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sales hack. Don't
You know
trust
what he
him.
was? He was chiseling the officials in Jasper. That's what he was doing. Tie game.
Prick.
Excuse me. Happened to be there. Our boy Seaborn at
MSG.
with people that had never been to a hockey game before. Welcome
really?
to the sport. What? And they can fight? Yeah.
Pretty good start. Yeah.
Unbelievable. He wasn't the only one. Elliot Friedman sort of had some similar vibes. So have you heard about Elliot? You know who he is?
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So he's like an insider. There it is. Maybe the best game of the year. MOTBGOTS. Maybe the best game of this. This is heavy stuff, guys.
It's too much stuff. Yeah. But the first period had everything. It's
Well-
the game. Just because I was playing catch up, I was saying earlier, I was on the PVR. It's like, God, because I know Retro's going to be waiting for me in the
Yeah,
back
that's
end
right.
of this game.
Yeah.
So it's scraps and penalties and all this. That's why the game took forever.
Well, let's revisit some of the highlights. If there was one player that impacted the contest more than any other in the near 65 minutes of play, his name was Jacob Trouba. There's no doubt about it. And lowering the boom early set the tone. Let's revisit some of the highlights of the contest. This is 1-1 in the first. Keep your head up, Dubes. Oh! Was that Mange? No, it was.
No, that was Dube, and
That
then
was Dubes.
Tanev. So why is Tanev coming in there? Is
Well,
that
he's the
just what you
closest
do?
guy to it. He's a great teammate, but goodness, he's just coming off IR with that what we think was a shoulder issue. I mean, was anyone else terrified for his health when this happened? You do not need to be fighting, sir.
And I didn't think he wanted
to play
to fight.
through anything.
I didn't think.
I
he
didn't
really
think so
wanted to
either.
fight.
And
I think he was just
ironically, if we
kinda-
watch the replay again, Trouba gets stick up first. Trouba sheds mitts first. Trouba starts throwing first. It's a clear fight, and yet there's an extra 2 for roughing on Tanev. Huh? I mean, they just never call that. It's essentially an instigator, of which the Flames have had 0 called all season. Then again, we haven't seen many hits that heavy this season. We would later in this contest, spoiler alert. Sammy Blais joined the hit parade. I don't know that I've seen Milan Lucic get rocked like this before. Have you, Dino?
Sammy Blais is a hard hitter. Now, predatory, that whole thing, predatory hit for sure.
Clean?
But he can level guys. Luch was not happy.
The Flames got another extra 2 here, which I get. That's a hit that was deemed clean in hindsight.
Yeah, if
and
this
they
was your
start the
first ever
melee.
NHL game,
Are you
you'd be,
kidding me?
Yeah, you'd be what the?
You're like, what is happening? And then Uyghur, some rookie that's the size of a house we've never heard of, he tunes him up, starts yelling at him.
Starting the lawnmower, this kid.
No kidding.
Whoop-de.
Anyway,
I don't like when they got their
we're early on
hands.
here. This game had everything.
I don't like when they got their bare hands down on the ice.
Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Yeah, isn't that scary when you get all those skates around there?
Oh, skates all over. You're like, eh.
Who is Milan Lucic going to eat for dinner?
Why has he got his gloves on?
Well, I mean,
Oh, did he
there
get
it is.
popped?
He got him.
Man.
You don't see that often. That's a big man he sent down to the ice there.
Now, any problems with the hit? Summer said it's a high hit, or anybody have a problem with it?
It's heavy. He's trying to hit him. It's a contact sport. Milan, keep your head up. And
No
I'm not worried
problem.
about, you're not preying on a 230-pounder.
Even weaker lefty, eh?
Damn lefties hate lefties.
Yeah, they're the worst.
See that? It's
and I don't know that
scary, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know that we have it in the rundown, but I'm going to try to throw a curveball at at Alex here. Can we see the big hit? The hit? I mean, we had,
Here it is.
yeah. So this is Kadri later in the contest, and I don't know that you've seen a heavier hit in the NHL this season. Kadri bounces right up after his head bounces right off the ice, and Dylan Dube, first man on the scene, not unlike Tanev, offers to dance, but Jacob Trouba's fingerprints are all over this contest, fellas.
The only one that's comparable is Reeves against
Reeves
Detroit.
on
Verona.
it was Hronik. Yeah, Philip Hronik. Yeah,
Hronik,
you're right. I was thinking Minnesota, but it was Detroit for sure. Reeves playing for Minnesota. There you go. Unbelievable contest. Mix in a goal that was certainly directed in by a skate, but wasn't a kicking motion. And if you're at home and you're thinking, man, I just don't know what's a goal and what isn't. I mean, how can you know if the NHL doesn't even know? This is clearly a coin toss, right? At the control center.
Again, I'm catching up on PVR, and I see the goal go in, and it's not going to count, so I'm just skipping ahead. And as it skips ahead, the play is underway, and the goal has counted.
Yes.
Back it up, back it up, back it up. What are they looking at? How is that? Jesus, what are we looking at there?
So that is a goal, but the Blake Coleman one in Game 5 against the Oilers is not. Welcome to your NHL. They don't have a clue. They need to make a clear rule that's easy to understand. They don't have a clue. And yeah, look at that. The Italians could use some finish, right?
I think that all those goals should be allowed. Like that, to me, is
Why not?
highly skilled play, but why shouldn't that be allowed? Under the rules, I don't think it is a legit goal.
That
But
was called.
Yeah.
I have a solution for everyone. Can we try it on for size? If your blade's on the ice it can count. If you lift your skate off, we worry about injuries, no goal. Is that not really easy? There's no gray area.
Isn't that kind of where we're
his
at right
heel's
now?
on the ice there. So
but then you're going to be backing it up. Is his blade touching the ice?
Well, what do we have now? What was the process last night? I don't even know what they're looking at.
You just have, it has to be, if it's off your foot, no goal or absolute goal.
Yeah. And so in a league where they're starved for goals and the league office wants more scoring, why is it so fucking hard to count at a goal when it goes in off a skate of something last night, apparently? It's, good luck figuring that out. The league hasn't yet. Let's go to the OT winner. We showed it out of the gate. Rhett was wondering about the man.
Watch the back checkers. Watch the back checkers.
And I'm wondering what the hell Zadorov's doing, not hitting the brakes immediately. But either way.
Zadorov gets back. Lafreniere, the pass. Save Markstrom. Lafreniere scores!
Pang. Markstrom did get a 10. Did you notice?
I did. And he would have gotten life
Yes.
in prison if that thing would have impaled the ref.
He's getting good at those break the stick on the bar. He doesn't need many second chances. Some of the new goalies to it.
I hadn't noticed it until that view right there. I don't know why I didn't pay attention to. What in the F is he doing on a 2-on-1?
Zadorov?
Yes.
Well, he took the shot. But not the man.
No, he didn't take anything. He just skated.
Ideal,
it's
Rhett.
definitely not. There's been
Like,
a
how
lot of
about
those.
you
Rasmus
lay
Anderson
down?
had a couple.
How about
That's
right
why
here?
I was asking
Right
you
here.
earlier.
Wait, down, lay down. Oh my God.
That's why I wondered, maybe if you'd marinated on it a little bit, you watched it a few times, like, do you still hate Mangiapane on this one?
You can dislike what Mange does, but it's not the principal concern I have on the play. And I felt for Markstrom. He finally got some run support, boom. But that's 5.
He's got to feel like he's cursed. Rhett and I were talking about it on Afterburn.
Yeah.
You get 1 goal, run support, you allow 2. You get 4, you allow 5. He just can't seem, it's that shell game. He can't seem to get it figured out. I feel for him.
Where would you go in net, both of you? Right, just quick thought. Detroit Thursday, and then they have that afternoon matinee in Buffalo, 10:30 our time, 12:30 Buffalo time on Saturday. Those are the next 2 on the road trip before they go to Ottawa.
I said yesterday, I'd go back with Markstrom. I liked his energy. I thought he played pretty good. And I want to give him the chance to get a win.
Do you know?
Me too. I just play him.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's like a complete dumpster fire. I think
Detroit. Daryl. I mean, we're asking 2 questions, I suppose. What do you think Daryl's going to do, and what would you do? They might be the same answer. They might not. I like the performance from Markstrom. I also like a guy that's got a point in each of his last 13 or 14 games. That's good too. I think he'll play Buffalo. Vladar. Oh, is it a matinee in the middle of the road trip? I mean, of course you use your.
What was
that was the thing in Dallas? Remember when Vladar went in? Yeah, I could just see him loading that clip up again for
whoever starts. It was clearly the only choice.
What else are you gonna do? It's the middle of a road trip, a matinee. Come on. Come on.
And what was this thing last night? The road trip.
Oh yeah. So this is classic Darylism. You'll love this, Rhett. He's like, oh, it's a 5-game road trip. We got 3 out of 4 points so far. 5. So he's counting Seattle and then a 9-day vacation in the middle where the guys came back to Calgary and skated as a group. So one guy went to the All-Star game and they came, well, yeah, it's the 2nd game of the road trip. Dare. You can't write this shit.
Why are you guys so stupid?
3 out of 4. You're really going to critique this?
He's not wrong. Hey, 3 of a possible 4. 2 tough buildings.
What a road trip. They've been on the road for, I swear, it's 2 weeks, Steve.
I know.
Come up here.
Yeah.
Fucking Daryl. I love it. Okay, that was last night's game. Let's look at the standings, the aftermath. The Preds play tonight, and they are right there. I know we're looking up. The Flames could check the rearview mirror as well, as Nashville ain't going away. The points percentage is pretty close there. Yes, Calgary's in by points, but we're smarter than that. Colorado has 3 games in hand. Do we think they're going to get more than 1 point in 3 games in hand? I would suggest they would. In fact, they play Casey DeSmith and the Penguins tonight. They could be in get those points tonight, no question. They got to get points. They got to get rolling. We asked, Dean and I spoke yesterday, Rhett, I want your opinion. 4-game roadie. I know Daryl says 5. 4, 8 points available. They have 1. What constitutes a successful road trip? How many out of 8 points are you happy with?
I said last night, I think they got to get 5 out of the next 6 points. I think
so. That would be a 6-point road trip.
Yeah.
And we kind of thought 6 would be a good road trip. So that's 2 wins and a overtime loss. Sounds on brand. Now, I think these are all tricky games too. I don't think any of these teams make the playoffs, but Buffalo's feeling great. The Wings have some serious weapons, and Ottawa has been feeling vibes the last 2-3 weeks.
I would say they've got a real advantage in Buffalo, and we'll probably talk about it on Friday a little bit more, but I think that's Buffalo's first game back, and it's a 12 o'clock start. It's a 12 o'clock start, and I don't think that's ideal for any team to have to deal with. Now, that being said, there's a bunch of young punks on that Buffalo team, and they seem to enjoy being at the rink, so anything. You never know with that sort of group.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if you want to go ahead, you go to that Ottawa game. It's on a Monday night. They'll have been on the road for over a week by
last
that
of
point.
a road trip. And then the first game back.
Not ideal. You're right, though. You can't lose to Ottawa. You got to beat Detroit, and you're right. You got to find a way to get a point out of Buffalo. I don't disagree with you. You lose to teams like Chicago, and you squander points. And not to say they did last night, but now you've put yourself in a spot where you really need to beat the teams that you feel you should, and you got to get a little bit of lady luck along the way.
Yep, fair enough. By the way, more Flames Rangers breakdown. Make sure you check out Afterburner. It's up on anywhere you get your podcasts, YouTube as well. Boom and Rhett last night. Good chats on where Markstrom's head's at, the overtime winner, Jacob Trouba being a wrecking ball, and I'm sure other topics covered as well.
Yeah.
Look at these two good-looking fellows here.
Yeah, look at us.
And the lights must be low in your room. You're going no shades there, right?
It's a different lighting. There's a big soft box. It's a softer thing, yeah.
Love a good song. Okay. We'll move to NHL news. Just as the show started today, breaking news, Dylan Cousins, 7 times 7.1. We touched that with Frank as he joined the program. That's Tage Thompson and Dylan Cousins locked in for the next 7 years at very reasonable numbers. You got to like what the 10-year outlook is for your Sabres, Rhett. I mean, maybe it's a little ahead of schedule this year, but they are in great shape moving forward.
They found guys that want to play here, and they've built up a pretty good talent base. And I think that those guys in 5 years you're going to be looking at those contracts going, what a steal.
Yeah. I think you already are with Tage, which is incredible. You guys remember when the New Jersey Devils had the new jerseys that were black and white and it just said jersey on it? So it was the jersey, and then we made the pants jokes and the skates, hat. Well, we've got a jersey hat, and you're going to like it.
Oh.
This is apparently for the hardest work ever of the New Jersey Devils. It's a jersey hat.
It's a hat. Yeah.
It's a jersey hat. And incredibly oversized. I don't know if remember when baseball tried to put helmets with like hats over top of them for the pitchers? There's a couple of guys tested it out, and it looked completely ridiculous, like someone was in Mario for a moment. I'm all about this. We've seen hard hats, we've seen firemen's caps, we've seen fur coats. The jersey hat is pretty darn good.
I saw there were some in the NFL this year, and I forget, there was one player, it was like his buddy who makes them.
Yeah, sure.
So he's turned his buddy into a millionaire by wearing these big stupid hats because he got it started. That's a good hat.
And I believe that's
a Brat. That's a Brat hat.
That's the jersey hat that went to Brat, who didn't get the hat trick but scored the OT winner over Medicine Hat? No, it was Vancouver. Okay. Next, Tortorella penned a letter to Flyers fans. He getting soft. John Tortorella penning a letter to fans. He's challenged the leadership group. He's saddled the youngsters with big minutes. He's happy with how things are going. This is step one. Where job's not done. Look at Torts, eh?
It's very untortsy, right?
His media interactions would be the exact opposite of this, but people inside of the Torts bubble say this is exactly who he is. So,
I'm sure it is, but that he would be compelled to do it.
Yeah.
Like, is this his idea? Is this somebody else's idea? What do you think of the idea? I don't know.
You better not be getting soft on us, Rhett. We need Tortsy to be fired up. That's City.
My initial thoughts were the same there, where it's like, is this the team telling him to do this, and we'll write this letter for you, just sign your name? But I feel like Torts would, upon hearing that, immediately punch that person in the face and then smash.
I'll write the damn letter.
If I'm doing a letter, I'll write my own effing letter, or take your letter and F yourself, right? Like I don't think he's buying it. So it must be his. There's no way somebody else is telling him how to do it.
AHL All-Star game was yesterday in Laval after the skills competition on the weekend. Matthew Phillips, Calgarian, representing the Wranglers, and Dustin Wolf, some little known 7th rounder who's clearly too small to be a good goaltender. Let's visit Phillips mic'd up. In fact, they're both too small to play pro hockey, guys, clearly. Phillips was wearing the mic and had a little fun in Laval.
Couple hard rims from you, or what?
You could probably fade this down a touch. These guys have both had monster seasons. Phillips, leading scorer in the league for long stretches of the season. Wolf's been the best goalie in the league.
He came close
winning that
year,
award as a rookie last year.
But he's also thrown a couple pizzas trying to do it. Oh yeah.
You know, this isn't the sexy
Forever
travel
up two,
league,
he's
Dean.
just
This is
ripping them every time.
commercial flights. This is buses. This is half-filled stadiums. This is
Such a good kid.
both these guys.
Weather
the storm. So good to see these guys get rewarded for their excellent seasons by being at the showcase.
Do these
event. Great
guys
crowd
try?
in
Do these guys
I
try
don't know.
at the All-Star game?
Generally speaking, I don't think anyone tries at All-Star games, so I don't really want to.
Gotta get one here.
Like, if you're an NHL scout, you're not going to watch this, right? This isn't a top prospects game for the CHL.
Yeah, we need a little more sandpaper on this team right now.
They would be missing a little grit at the old All-Star roster, right?
Yeah!
And we'll skip forward.
Needed that.
Do you want to guess who won MVP of the game, fellas? The guy that gets all the awards and only all the awards.
Wolf.
Dustin Wolf. The Wolfman has been sensational. All he does is stop pucks better than everyone else in no matter what league he plays in. And I'm not here to say he should be in the NHL now. I think this is an absolute perfect place for him at this juncture. A best case scenario for this organization would be have 3 netminders. Markstrom, Vladar, and Wolf all have very strong finishes to the season. You may have a serious cap pinch coming at you depending where the cap ends up this next year. Flexibility is good. Options are good. It looks like Vladar and Wolf have had really strong seasons thus far. We'll see how Markstrom wraps it up. But this guy will factor into the NHL roster at some point here. And he just keeps winning goalie of the year no matter where he plays. Back-to-back years in the Western League, rookie in the American League, which is almost unheard of. Here we go.
Jesus.
It's coming. You like having prospects, right?
It's fun. This is just quite a soapbox. We got it.
Hey, it's exciting. Though.
It is exciting. It's
Okay,
very good.
I don't want to curse him. I'm sorry. I'll move on.
It's just yeah.
It's
the Pinder report. I shouldn't.
Hey,
It feels like you're beating us down. I'm with you. I think I hope for nothing but the best.
Yes, and I'm not saying bring him up now like this. That's no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
What's it gonna take? Well, let him finish his second pro season ever.
There's a pretty
we'll
cool
revisit.
video on the Calgary Wranglers Instagram. And it's because you can see on that one, it looks like it's smoky in there. Like, has everybody got darts going or whatever?
It's Laval.
But it's a low shot from kind of the back, not right behind the net, but off to the right, I guess it would be. It almost looks like an oldie time photo. You know, when you see everybody wearing the suits and all dressed up, and it's a really cool thing. And watching his movement is awesome. The guy's lateral movement, just how he moves in that crease. If you go to the Wranglers Instagram and check it out, it's kind of a cool vid.
He's won everyone over that knows goalies. I'll tell you that. He's had a sensational run here. Okay. Quickly to the NBA, just because I love this shit. Damian Lillard, very good at shooting the basketball, which helps when you're in the NBA. But geez, I mean, it's just showing off now. Look where he is on the court. Let's pick this up. Dame's got the nice shoes up top there. Like, that's the logo at center court.
Conservative, of course, with his minutes. Dame outside, no one open. Time running down. 11 on the shot clock. Drills a 3. What is that?
No big deal.
Yeah, and there's 11 seconds left. I mean, if you don't see anything you like with 11, you may as well just haul it from half court.
How much is that worth? Is that 5? Like, what's that worth?
I don't know how these
Why
guys
is
do
he
it.
shooting it from there?
There's 11 seconds left. That's what's so ridiculous. Oh, yeah, the shot clock running. No, it's not. You can do a million things in 11 seconds. He's settling for that, and swish, doesn't even touch the rim. Love it. A sad note to finish, as World Cup, we saw Canada go over to Qatar, and Sam Edekube was on the pitch for Team Canada. His brother Elijah's played for Calgary. Great Calgarian family. Mom is on Twitter cheering on her sons fiercely. Sam's team is playing in Turkey. That's his pro team when he's not with Team Canada, obviously. Major earthquakes there. They're actively looking for some of his teammates in rubble. Sam is tweeting and on Instagram, so we hope that's confirmation that he's okay, but incredibly scary stuff happening in Turkey. So, sometimes we don't hear about all this stuff. We're stuck in our own little bubble, or we're talking about whether Sammy Blais' hit was clean, but that's incredibly scary. Sports don't matter that much stuff. Watch these buildings just disappear, Rhett. Like, so that's in Turkey in the last 24 hours. So we hope, with over 5,000 casualties confirmed already, that you hope everyone that has a chance to be saved is. And I don't even know the words. I'm stammering here. That's an absolute tragedy. Don't usually end on a somber note. I apologize for that.
No, usually it's a lighthearted kicker.
Yeah,
that's not a kicker.
That's not a kicker. That's a kick to the balls.
Pinder report brought to you by Village Honda. The all-new CR-V Hybrid has arrived at Village Honda. Stop in and road test it today.
To the shades, we can't tell that you're crying now.
The Northwest Auto Mall, and of course online at villagehonda.com. I didn't mean to come at you about Dustin Wolf. It's just you get going.
I do. That's what I do.
It was it is.
I'm not offended.
Is it? But
I just see some people screaming for
isn't
he up? It's like, you don't have 3 goalies up. What are you talking about? You don't buy out a goalie mid-season. Like, think, people. Give them a full second season.
Are people really like that's?
I just see a lot of it's the same kind of conversation. Like, why didn't Milan go fight Trouba? Because they didn't need another minor. I understand you're frustrated. You're emotionally invested, and it looks like some Flames got punched in the face or drilled to the ice. You don't just grab someone and fight anymore. That's not how this league works. You can try it, and you'll lose the game, and you won't get a point, and you'll spend the rest of the night in the penalty box.
We talked about it on Afterburner last night, Retro, and Uyghur actually had some comments afterwards, paraphrasing that we're going to stick up for each other, and we love each other in this room, and it's in a way, notice that we're not going to be pushed around. Those sorts of things can galvanize teams when they need to be brought together, and it feels like maybe this is a team that could use some sort of a bond inside that room.
Well, it was the emotion for me. They finally had some emotion that you wanted to see. Now, I don't know if they had to get it drug out of them a little bit by Trouba and some big hits, but so what? I'm happy with that. Now, they got to follow it up with a win.
100%. It means nothing if they're listless and flat against Detroit on Thursday. It means nothing.
Exactly. And that's been the trend, is to get a little flat. So
yeah, boy, 3 out of 4 points against Kraken and the Rangers.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
What are you worried about? 2
and then
games into
just
this
zoom out a bit. Oh, you barely got past Columbus and you lost to Chicago for the second time in a month. It's been a roller coaster.
No, not that at all. McLeod Law. We talked about, I guess we brought them up last week. They personal injury lawyers, McLeod Law, Peter Klein, great guy. Online, McLeod-law.com. They're a Calgary business, born and bred, deep Calgary roots, taking care of the people in our city, taking the stress off of your shoulders when it comes to personal injury and all that sort of thing. And they wanted to kind of, if there's a chance, relive a little bit of Calgary history.
Get some nostalgia going, right?
It was on this day for McLeod Law, February 7th, 1988. A young Joe Nieuwendyk scored his 40th goal of the season.
40
as a rookie, passing Eric Vale for the rookie record for the Calgary Flames. He had 39. Nieuwendyk hit 40 on this date back in 1988 to set the new rookie record. Ended up with 51 goals in the 87-88 season.
That's a good rookie season, right, Rhett? 50 plus?
51 goals remains the Flames rookie record for goals.
It's the problem with that is it's hard to duplicate, right? The bar is set a little high.
That's a big problem.
But he did exactly that the next season with another 51 goal season, which is amazing. In his rookie year, in 75 games, 51 goals, 92 points. It was his second best year of his career. 2 years later, in 89-90, he had 95 points, just better than that rookie season. That's kicking the door in. That's making the team. Get yourself a place, Joe.
He got to play with Lanny McDonald. He's lucky, fortunate. You're fortunate.
There were so many good players that I don't think they get enough credit.
51.
We forget how good like Joe Mullen was. We forget how good Sergei Makarov was. Hakan Lube, the only Swede ever to score 50. Al McInnes's numbers are ridiculous. Multiple 100-point seasons. Gary Suter in his shadow put up monster numbers. It was ridiculous. I understand it was a higher scoring era, but some of the numbers that crew put up in the late 80s, preposterous.
Played with Lanny.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, anybody's going to be able to score.
Easy. If I played with Lanny, I would
51.
12.
Yeah. There you go. This date in 1988, Joe Nieuwendyk set the Flames rookie goal record, and then obviously would add to it, but he took it over on this date back in 88. That is a presentation and brought to you by McLeod Law. Call Peter Klein, 403-254-3864. You can follow them on social media all across your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at McLeod Law LLC, or on their website, McLeod-law.com.
It's Klein with a C.
C-L-I-N-E. C-L-I-N-E. Calgarians working for Calgarians. Love it. People with, you know what? More people involved with, luckily involved with our show.
For us or for them?
Where their heart, no, it's us.
Yeah, I think so.
These people have their heart in the right place.
I like this memory lane stuff. Feels good. I'm trying to think where that would rank all time 50 goal seasons for the Flames.
I feel badly because it was kind of brought to my attention yesterday that we maybe didn't reach out to our buddy in Buffalo upon hearing that there was an earthquake in Buffalo. That
there was a lot of
we just kind of.
Oh, I think he was in the air, wasn't he?
Well, even later, I don't think hey, is your family okay? Hey, is your house okay? Hey, is everything? We just kind of, earthquake, potential natural disaster in Buffalo. That's where Rhett lives. End of thought process.
We kind of joked that, there's lake effect and now this, and that you're landlocked and it's miserably cold and windy. And again, why?
And even when the snow hit, it's just massive snowstorm. People are stuck in their houses. They can't get out for groceries. There's power outages. Rhett lives in Buffalo. End of transmission. Rhett, I feel bad. We should have checked in on you. We care.
It would have
we
meant
care
a lot. It would have meant a lot to me to hear you guys reach out and just, support, concern.
Yeah.
Anything. Instead, Pinder was giving me shit for not going to the pub to watch the game last night. Pay for this fancy hockey package. Yeah. I hadn't eaten all day.
I think what we got to figure out for you, MSG and Empire would be the local networks there for you.
There it is, 3.8.
Now, what's 3.8? I don't want to make we just saw a serious earthquake.
Now, apparently, listen, it's different. It goes up like from 4 to 5 is an order of 100 magnitude, not just, it's not. Yeah. So it's a big change from one to the next.
Yeah.
So 3.8
on the YouTube chat. Kim is saying, I'm just glad that the photos behind you. Did you have to put them back up on the wall? Did you replace the glass in those masterpieces?
Yeah, they somehow survived. Very sturdy build here in the
long nails. Yeah. Put them right into the stud. They were fine. They were just fine. But so I mean, whatever. It's we care about you now. We'll bring it to the show. Yesterday, so what do you have at home that you're living in Buffalo for the package to watch NHL hockey? Because you're still just as involved and invested in Flames hockey. Just because you're living there doesn't mean anything. So you get home yesterday, you're going to watch the Flames game, but you can't get it. Why would that game be blacked out for you?
I have no idea, and I've got the ESPN provides the NHL package down here, and online, I've got that. And then I've got another streaming service that gives me local, which would have MSG and Empire, and they were carrying tennis matches. But my father-in-law, who has just local cable, had the game. So I went over to Grandpa's and watched.
See, this is a regional blackout. This would be like going to your, NHL website to watch the Flames when it's on Sportsnet West. It's regional. It's shitty. It's how everyone makes money in the NHL. Sorry. It sucks, Rhett. So we got to be careful. Are you going to go to the Sabres game on Saturday, that midday start against the Flames? Because you're running into the same issue, I'm guessing.
Yeah. But the Sabres games have been played. I've got them on here before.
I'm just saying it's, yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
I wonder. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't always add up. Anyway, I might be in, I don't know. Kids probably have a game on Saturday. Although I gotta go to
you got to get your kids playing in that Scottsdale league or something. Get the hell out of there, eh? Get some more heat.
I'll tell you what.
I think you're coming back.
The Florida Alliance. They're looking for players. Maybe have to get the kids involved down there.
Mm-hmm.
Good spot.
I'm just going to draw the curtain back a little bit for the listeners and the viewers. This, as of about 6:20 last night,
game started.
Warner has a screenshot of his laptop, or your laptop. Is that where you're going to watch? This event has been blacked out in your area, so it's on. And the note is added. He then adds another one where select broadcast, it's blacked out. You're not going to be able to
not ideal.
So Pinder says MSG or Empire. Rhett says, I don't have. Get to ye old sports bar, says Ryan. Rhett, which sports bar do you recommend? Ryan, the one with the game on. Rhett, I'm going to ignore you and your fucking stupidity. Ryan, I'll stop trying to help. Rhett has left the chat. Rhett has left the chat group. So that's, we're friends, but it's tough sometimes.
It's serious
in the old bar.
Well, I had a tough day yesterday. I woke up in sunshine.
It felt like
fly back to an earthquake zone, and I hadn't eaten all day, and I got BS and Pinder yelling at me. I should have
home repair, right? You come home, there's been an earthquake. Your
pipes are burst. I got fixing shit left and right. It's terrible.
All right, a couple things here before we
don't play the Rangers again. Fuck.
Before we get out of here. Venanova, we're 1 week out. 1 week to Valentine's Day. 1 week.
Can you guys talk to Justin?
1 week.
Can you talk to Justin for me, please?
I talked to Justin. I was texting with him today. Justin from Venanova, venanova.com.
Don't screw it up, boys.
I said, what do you want to do something Valentine's Day, right? He says, how about this? How about online, use the Barn Burner promo code.
Barn Burner.
We're also going to throw in a high-end box of chocolates with your purchase.
Not the shopping aisle at the checkout.
No,
chocolates?
none of that. Not the mini eggs.
Okay.
Not the Halloween leftover Halloween candy from 2 years.
Some Reese's Pieces and
some expired mini chocolate bars, honey. I love you.
But I don't like. What's the Crunch one? That's the one that always lasts at our house. Not Captain Crunch, Crunch Munch, or whatever the fuck it is. It's terrible. Anyway, high-end, really nice box of chocolates plus your purchase. So online with the promo code, or if you go in store, say, hey, Barn Burner. Heard about Venanova and Barn Burner. Want to take a look around with your purchase, the chocolates, and maybe you live in Buffalo, maybe you live somewhere else. They're going to ship it to you. You're within the city limits. They're going to deliver it to you.
Deliver it like that.
This is Justin, dedicated to the Barn Burner faithful. Venanova.com, lab-grown diamonds, Calgary's only lab-grown diamond specialist, exclusively in lab-grown diamonds. As much as 80% off in some cases for this stuff. It looks awesome. It's a huge hit. I know we do
a little more bling for the ring.
Guys came through at Christmas. Maybe you didn't do it at Christmas. Now you make good with Venanova for Valentine's Day, 1 week away.
And don't again. You're going to steam in there on the 13th or 14th.
Don't do it.
He'll help you, but I mean, it's going to be busy. You know how it rolls. Get ahead of that this week. Let's go.
Now we all did jewelry for Christmas for our.
We did. Big hit.
We don't have to.
Big hit.
Does that carry us through Valentine's Day? Like that was big.
The problem is we set the bar high here, Rhett. I think we might have got ourselves in trouble. We would have to go back.
I think we should go back and just, I don't think you want
I should go back.
We've got a good thing going. Let's keep it going. People are happy in the house, right? Life is good.
Happy's good. Happy's very good. You know who likes chocolates? Ozzy Sheila. Goodness.
Is that right?
Unbelievable.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a win-win.
Before we get out of here, we'll do our Betway Bets of the day. We've got 6 games in the NHL. Flames obviously off until Thursday. I'll start us off. Go on. The Tampa Bay Lightning, sour.
Oh, they should be sour.
They got thumped.
They got S-pumped.
By the Florida Panthers last night, 7-1.
Oof.
Tonight, they host the San Jose Sharks. The Edmonton Oilers, they're in Detroit to play the Red Wings. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking Tampa versus San Jose, minus 1.5, a Lightning victory, plus 100. I feel like that's, come on.
Yeah,
It's San Jose and a sour Tampa team.
At home.
At home.
Setting a tone here.
Is Tampa Bay close to San Jose?
I don't believe it's close. They're both near water. I don't think it's a boat ride, though.
Meanwhile, Stamkos playing for the Lightning. McDavid, he's an Edmonton Oiler in Detroit.
Heard that.
McDavid, Stamkos, both to score at least one tonight, plus 275. I am loving my bets of the day. Loving them.
Well, I'm going to go to a different game. And I'm back in one of, I hope he'll be one of our boys one of these days. He's Calgarian. He's probably the best defenseman on planet Earth. It's all Cale Makar all the damn time tonight. Casey to Smith your pants. He's been awful this year. As Jari's not quite right. They recalled Dustin Tokarski. Cale Makar, anytime goal, plus 240. Couple points, plus 250. We hit one of these in this range on the Blake Coleman goal yesterday. Let's keep her going.
Wipe out.
All hail Cale. All hail Cale. Betway Bets of the day.
Be 19, get it on your phone, be responsible, all that sort of thing.
We were concerned for Cale Makar at the when he wiped out. Thought he was going to hit his head on the boards coming around the corner.
Yeah.
A little speed.
They put some pads down there. That's a good idea.
Got to sharpen those skates for the poor guy. God.
Now, Hugh, you mentioned the big game last night, Florida, Tampa. I think this is sneakily one of the best rivalries. Maybe not sneaky anymore, but like if you could only watch one rivalry in the league, it's Battle of Alberta's great. You know, Boston, Toronto's always got a little juice. Tampa, Florida, awesome. Remember they had these fights in Orlando in the preseason last
100%.
year. They've met in the playoffs the last 2 years. Man. All-Star game just happened in Florida. Feels like interested in all-time high. 7-1, 5 points for Tkachuk. Guess how many they squeezed into FLA Live Arena?
19.
It says 15,000, but it was a lot less than that.
59,000?
15,000. I was expecting it to be a much lower number.
Oh.
The visuals were horrendous. I see. Half full, but
Feels
okay.
Respectable.
Well, and Jitterbug had a big victory at him and Jitterbug and the Panthers mascot, Stanley C. Panther, won the dodgeball mascot shootout.
How'd Harv do? I feel like Harv's not getting much love these days.
Harv was half-assing it. Harv was half-assed. He was good for a while, and then he disappeared.
It's an ambassador for our city.
Yeah.
It's more than just you, Harv. Like, literally, you're the only Calgarian on the ice at that point.
He was fine out of the gate, and then all of a sudden you didn't know. What's he doing? Yeah. Is he gonna try?
Still roaming around with no shirt on?
Yeah. So obviously you were down there, All-Star. We didn't really talk. Did you go to the game? Just the skills? What did you take in with the kids?
No, we ended up at the skills because Jovo had 5 seats for us in his suite, so we freebeat our way in there and got fed and watered and got to interact. His brother was there. Eddie's brother hadn't seen Eddie's brother for 2 decades, so got to visit. But it was slow. Oh boy, really slow. Way worse live. Way worse live than on TV.
Well, I saw because I watched it. It was a condensed thing the next day, and they showed from the time Fiala took his first twirl in the fastest skater to the next one was 44 minutes. What the hell are we doing?
Were they cutting to live stuff or the tape stuff on the beach?
Like
it was weird.
Every LA King player going. No, it was 44 minutes between skate 1 and skate 2. I mean, I'm not gonna. It is what it is. But
for the kids,
Well, they're trying, but it's
it really is.
painful.
I do enjoy grown adults filling their diapers over the All-Star game, not meeting their standards though on Twitter. That's one of my faves.
Or treating it as if it's a big deal,
And that
Like
they're
it
the target audience. Like, oh, this 48-year-old man, we better adjust the rules so he likes it more.
Apparently,
Horvat,
though, now,
one last time to Elias Pettersson. What a great goal! All right,
That was the game. Never mind the skills. See, Pettersson win hardest shot. That was impressive.
yeah, that's great.
Here we
See, I
go.
thought you'd have a little bit more color. You look kind of gaunt.
It's got a hat and shades on the whole time. I'm guessing.
Is it your liver? Are you having liver failure? You look like shit.
No, I'm good. My liver,
You're a little
actually,
yellow.
My doctors, every time I go for my checkup, they're just, I don't want to jinx it, but boy, they're like, wow, your lifestyle,
Blown away.
your
Yeah.
liver is functioning superbly. Way to go.
Yeah, they call him the Greek god. Yeah.
What?
Hey, Zeus is in again today. Get ready. He set some more records.
Now, see, that's a departure from probably about 12 years ago, because I remember when we started doing the radio show, you went to a doctor's appointment. They told you you had the body of a guy who was about 30 years older than you were at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I forget who. It was some weird calculation they did. It wasn't a good number. I was 76 10 years ago, so I don't know.
That's the wisdom of a 76-year-old. Think of all the knowledge that, to travel in the world he's absorbed.
My telomeres are too short. I don't know. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I was going to say they look a little bit too short. That'll do it for today, everybody. That's Barn Burner. We'll be back tomorrow. And good luck with all the, home repairs. Full day of getting everything back on
Ongoing.
track.
Cleaning up
T's
the
and P's,
neighborhood.
Rhett.
Yeah.
T's and P's to you. We'll be back tomorrow. That'll do it. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Oilers suck.